All right, let's talk about something that drives investors absolutely crazy. You see a company announce amazing, record-breaking profits, and then you watch its stock price just fall off a cliff. It makes no sense, right? It feels like the market has totally lost its mind. But believe me, there is a logic to the madness, and we are going to break it all down.
So let's just dive right in. Imagine this. A company you follow posts incredible results. You're thinking, yes, this is it. The stock is going to go to the moon. But then it tanks. It's kind of like you bring home a report card with straight A's and your parents respond by grounding you. It just doesn't add up. So what on earth is really going on here?
Okay, let's look at a real-world example that just happened. Duolingo. I mean, they absolutely crushed their third quarter. Revenue beat expectations. Profits, it wasn't just a beat, it was a huge surprise. User growth, up 36%. You literally couldn't ask for a better report card. And what happened to the stock? It plummeted, down over 25%. How is that even possible?
Well, the answer is actually pretty simple, and it has almost nothing to do with the great quarter they just had. See, in the stock market, there's one golden rule. The future is everything. And there's one specific piece of information that tells investors exactly what's coming. And this right here is the key. It's a little something called forward guidance. Basically, it's the company's own prediction of how they think they're going to do in the next quarter or year. You know, a stock's price isn't really about today. It's supposed to be the value of all of its future profits added together. So the market is always looking ahead. It cares a whole lot less about today's sunny weather and a whole lot more if the company itself is forecasting a hurricane just over the horizon. To put it another way, it's not about the A+ you just brought home. It's about telling everyone that you're pretty sure you're going to get a C on the next test. That warning about the future can completely wipe out all the good news from the past. And you can see this exact pattern play out right here. Both Duolingo and Carvana, they had great Q3 results. They beat the estimates. But, and this is the big but, Duolingo warned everyone that Q4 was looking a little weak, and Carvana hinted that their sales might actually go down. And that one little piece of information about the future, it totally trumped all the good news they just reported.
Okay, so if weak guidance can absolutely crush a great earnings report, what happens when a company gets it right? You know, when they have a great past and they promise a great future. Let's take a look at the coffee chain, Dutch Bros, to see what that looks like. First up, the past was fantastic. Dutch Bros reported that their revenue shot up a whopping 25% compared to last year. That's some serious growth right there. And second, sales at their existing stores, which is a really important number for any retailer, grew by a super healthy 5.7%. So the business is humming along. But here comes the most important part, the piece of the puzzle that made all the difference.
Ah, there it is, the magic combination. Not only did they post great results, but they promised an even better future by raising their guidance. They basically said to investors, hey, you thought that was good? Just wait and see what's next. And, as you can imagine, the market absolutely loved it.
Now, guidance is usually the main event, no doubt about it. But sometimes there are other little surprises tucked away deep inside those earnings reports that can move a stock in a big way. It's not always just about sales and forecasts. For example, Celsius beat its revenue numbers, but then reported a surprise loss because of some one-time costs. Not great. Or look at Opendoor. They announced they were selling a bunch of new shares right after a weak report, which can dilute existing shareholders. And sometimes it's as simple as a key executive at a company like Roku selling a big chunk of their stock. That kind of thing can really spook investors, no matter how good the headline numbers are.
So how can you use all this to be a smarter investor or even just a smarter observer of the market? How do you avoid getting faked out by a splashy headline? Well, I've got a simple little framework for you.
From now on, whenever you see an earnings headline, just run it through this quick mental checklist. First, check the basics. Did they beat or miss? Easy enough. Second, and this is the most important one, you gotta hunt for that forward guidance. That's where the real story is 9 times out of 10. And finally, just do a quick scan for any other weird stuff. Big surprises that might have gotten buried in the press release. So the next time you see a company's stock acting weird after an earnings report, you'll know exactly what to look for. The big takeaway is this. Don't just read the headline. The real story, the one that truly matters to the market, is almost always about what a company says is coming tomorrow, not what it did yesterday. So now you've got the playbook. The only question is, which company's earnings are you going to watch next?